In 1962, James Livingston received his civil engineering degree from Auburn. 8 years later, in 1970, he received the highest military decoration the U.S. government can award when he became the only Auburn graduate to ever receive the Medal of Honor.
Livingston's path toward that meritorious day in Vietnam on May 2, 1968, began in the rural area of Lumber City, Georgia, where, when not attending school, there was plenty for him to do.
My grandfather sat him on top of a tractor in the middle of a field and basically told him, is this where you want to be 10 to 20 years down the road, or do you want to be a college graduate? Even though they weren't well educated themselves, they truly believed that both of their boys were going to get a college education, and they pushed it. They were tough, very Christian upbringing. You know, my dad went to church, he went to school, played sports, but also worked in the farm from the time he woke up to the time he went to sleep.
The first things I remember about him in school days was the physical activities that the boys his age had. I had no idea, no clue at the time. His body was being prepared for the years that he was going to be in Vietnam, and much was going to be required of him at that time.
Solid work ethic, strong values, and athletic physical attributes were influential in developing the character of a leader and hero.
James is a complex person. He's accomplished so much in his life, and he is generous and kind and sweet, but he's also tough, and he's very disciplined. He makes sure that everything within his power is done to make everybody feel good and comfortable wherever they are.
A year away from his graduation at Auburn, James Livingston received his draft notice from the Army. However, it would be the Marine Corps that would gain from Livingston's service. Livingston spent 12 weeks in the summer of 1961 being forged into a Marine leader.
You are definitely a leader. The Marines teach that. They teach you to be leaders, they train you to be leaders, and you are one.
Livingston returned to Auburn and finished in engineering. Then with the Marines, he would begin preparing for the escalating conflict in Vietnam. The opportunity to train enlisted Marines at Parris Island and the chance at another tour in Vietnam played large roles in Livingston making a career of military service. While at Parris Island, Livingston also found another interest when he met his lovely bride, Sarah. It was his second tour while serving as company commander that led to the heroic actions that would earn him the Medal of Honor. On May 2, 1968, under heavy enemy fire, Livingston was wounded twice by grenade fragments while leading his Marine company in an attack on the enemy and relieving another Marine company. Livingston was injured a third time, while again leading his company to free a second Marine company being held down by enemy fire. This time, unable to walk, he supervised the evacuation of casualties and ensured the safety of his men before being evacuated.
A fellowship of kindred minds, united in brotherhood, to advance truth and justice, to promote scholarship, to encourage chivalry, to diffuse culture, and to develop character in the service of God and man. Now, Jim, that's you. That's what you do. You live the creed of your fraternity.
Later, in 1975, he would return to Vietnam as an operations officer for the evacuation of Saigon. Then, in 1984, the family's first college graduate would improve upon that when he earned a master's degree in management from Webster University.
I don't think James has ever had a goal that he didn't achieve. He's one of those type of people that he just works really, really hard and makes sure that he's going to do whatever it is he set out to do.
In 1988, following his advancement to Brigadier General, Livingston took assignment in Washington, D.C., serving as Deputy Director for Operations at the National Military Command Center. With tensions rising in the Middle East, General Livingston developed the Desert Warfare Training Program for Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. And in 1991, advancing to Major General, he took command of the 4th Marine Division. Other commands include the Marine Air Ground Combat Center, the 1st Marine Expeditionary Brigade, and the Marine Forces Reserve.
Every time he'd come home, he would say to me, "Missy, I have 10,000 Marines, and you're the one that stresses me out the most. And as he progressed in his career, it became, I have 27,000 Marines, and you're the one that stresses me out the most. And so I feel very special that I was able to be the person that out of anybody else in the world could stress that man out.
Livingston is also the author of Noble Warrior, a book which informs of first-hand experiences of war and chronicles his military career. And the retired general is far from finished.
He doesn't slow up. I tell you, he's on the phone all the time. Somebody's calling, wanting to speak here, there, and everywhere.
He became the founding trustee and served as chairman of the board for the National World War II Museum. And as a member of the Medal of Honor Society, he has helped to reorganize the Medal of Honor Foundation.
I think in my dad's mind that veterans, sometimes after they've done their duty for this country, they become forgotten. And Dad has made it part of his mission to make sure that every veteran can walk into a VA hospital and get help. They at least deserve a fighting chance for a job.
Everything that he's kind of dedicated his life to is just making sure that this is a good place for not only his family, but everyone else's family.
For me, Dad's greatest accomplishments were he came home alive. And even though he may have seen the dark side of the world or may have been in difficult situations, it was as if Dad was home when he came home. There was no change.
For risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, the Medal of Honor. For being an exemplary Auburn alumni over a lifetime of service and dedication to his country, the Auburn Alumni Association Lifetime Achievement Award.
But Auburn was part of his backbone. It's part of what's made him today. And to have this award being given to him makes anybody feel like all that hard work you've done is now being recognized.
I'm so proud of all the accomplishments that you have achieved. And I respect you and admire you so much.
Congratulations, Jim.
I could say War Eagle. So War Eagle. To all the leadership here at Auburn, thank you for all the things you've done over all the years for all these great young people that have attended this great university. And good evening to all of you. It is a great pleasure to be back at the campus of this great university and the home of the War Eagles. When I was a student at Auburn many years ago, never in my wildest imagination did I ever dream that I would be back at Auburn tonight being honored. When I started my studies here, it was not called Auburn. It was called Alabama Polytechnic Institute. And we had some real trouble trying to decide if we were plainsmen, tigers, or war eagles, and I'm not sure we've got it straight today. I also recall the fact that the new McDonald's restaurant had just opened on the road to Opelika. And on that sign, they had a big sign that would hang out, and it talked about the number of hamburgers that had been sold. During those days, the number was 200,000. So that can tell you how old I am. Again, to all of you, it is my pleasure to be here and receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. Frankly, this is one of the defining honors a person can receive in a lifetime. Again, let me thank the great leadership of this university, the many leaders and the professors. I must note and tell you this, and I've got to share this with you, that my chemistry professor and my physics professor were so great, I almost didn't make it tonight. Now let me extend my deep appreciation also to the Auburn Alumni Association. Your support to this university is of great importance. Given your time and financial support will always ensure this is one of the finest universities in this great country we call America. I also feel very honored to be in the company of the other three recipients, and also note the earlier recipients. The Auburn family can be very proud of having such distinguished Americans as graduates. Tonight, I want to thank many more people who helped me along this path. Again, let me say to the Auburn faculty, you were one of the people, or a group of people, that helped me very much to find my life, regardless of how well I did in physics and chemistry. To my fraternity brothers, this is a rowdy crew over here. We sort of have been out of touch for so many years. And today we had a great, great time going back to the Sigma Pi house and having a chance to relive all those great memories of the 1950s and 60s. But I think the thing that really impressed me, and I want to tell all our Auburn friends here, was the young men who were in the Sigma Pi fraternity today. What a wonderful group of young men. There's a couple of old guys I want to say thank you for being here. One over there called Joed Voss. Joed, stick that hand up. A former cheerleader here at Auburn. Just an inspirational individual. And the guy that sort of has been harassing me here for about the last 6 months about trying to get me square to be here tonight is Mike Might. Mike, thank you so much there, Carl. Thank you so much. Let me also recognize Sue Ellen, the mayor of Lumber City, classmate of mine, and her brother Larry. Thank you so much for being here. My sister-in-law, Nancy Livingston. You saw her in the tape. Nancy, thank you so much, and we love you. Another special group I want to recognize here tonight, and one is not here, is General Bill Weiss. General Weiss is a Navy Cross recipient, twice wounded in combat, led me through the episode that we were involved in where I became the recipient of a Medal of Honor, and just an inspirational American. Just talks about the leadership that we have leading our young people in combat. And one of the young men, now an old guy like me, that was with me in that particular episode of my life was Greg Sims. Greg, stick your hand up there, guy. Another great American. Greg, twice wounded in combat and also a Bronze Star recipient. Just another wonderful American, and just it's a great, great honor to serve with you, Greg. And thanks for coming. It's very special. To my family, I want to say thanks. They talk about me sometime, and you know, you saw some of the fun things they say about their pop here. But I want to note my daughter Kimberly and her husband, my daughter Missy and her husband, and my granddaughter Chloe. Hey, Chloe. And we've got two others incarcerated upstairs. We would have brought them down, but I'm not sure we could all handle it tonight. There's a special lady I want to say thank you to. It's my wife, Sarah. Thanks, darling. She only has 29 moves under her belt. And she said when we moved to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, that would be the last one. But she has been a very special wife. She's raised two wonderful daughters, and she's always been there. And I'll tell you, she has really been a partner. And none of this would have been possible if it had not been for Tanya. Where's Tanya at? I mean, she has called me. She has called me, I don't know how many times, and said, General, are you squared away? Yes, ma'am, I'm squared away. I won't talk over 4 minutes. So where's the clock at? She's got the clock out there someplace. But to all of you, Auburn is special. Auburn is a very special family. Auburn has helped me define my life. From the staff, the faculty, my classmates, it's just been a special trip for me. And to have the chance to come back here and be in this position tonight is probably, I would like to acknowledge to all of you, one of the defining points in my life. God has blessed me by being here tonight, and you have blessed me by coming. So to all of you, War Eagle.